Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Manual Font Show. It is Monday. How's everybody doing? I'm gonna be off to work. You get up early enough to handle your business? Did you forget your lunch? Did you forget to put gas in the car? That's what I'm here for. I'm here to remind you all of the things that you need in order to get your butt to the job site. Also, I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart, all the way down into the tips of my toes. I just want you all to know that I appreciate you all for listening. I thank each and every one of you for taking the time to hear me talk utter nonsense for the next 30 minutes or so, with all the news stories that I find interesting and the occasional rebuttals should I come across them. And I know that you guys are out there kind of like sitting in your cars going, is this guy any better than this guy? Is this guy any better than that guy? Or that guy? Or that guy? Look, I'm going to tell you one thing for sure is I'm just as good as everybody else that you have been listening to. Okay? All right, moving on. Gavin Newsom once again is attempting to troll Texas. So he goes ahead and he attacks Houston's murder rate. I guess it was 322 per 100,000 as opposed to San Francisco at 65. Or is it 65 or 30? Let me dive in here. 35 in 60 years. The lowest rate in 60 years, 35. And of course he says here in his tweet here, anyone think Fox will cover that? Things you'll never see on Fox News. San Francisco's murder rate is at the lowest point in 60 years, 35 to Houston's 322. Here's the problem with this. Now, look, I'm all for Gavin Newsom attempting to sound like Trump, attempting to put out tweets in troll fashion, because that's what social media is. It's a bunch of toddlers pissing at each other. So I'm all for it. Whatever. Try to one-up the guy. But what makes this stuff fall flat and what makes this stuff sound so childish is the simple fact that Donald Trump has been doing this consistently for over a decade. And Gavin Newsom has been attempting to transform himself in less than 6 months. It's not authentic. It's not real. It's not who Gavin Newsom is. He is trying to turn himself into something that he absolutely is not. And what he does do is submit facts according to Gavin Newsom. So is it true that it is that the murder rate in San Francisco is 35? Yes, as of last year. But we don't know if that's actually accurate. And why is that? Because San Francisco, like all other cities across the nation, report to two systems in terms of crime statistics. And these systems are handled by the federal government. The FBI is one location, and the other one, guys, is the oh my gosh, I just drew a blank. The National Incident-Based Reporting System. So you have the FBI's crime reporting system, the UCR, and then you have the NIBRS, the National Incident-Based Reporting System. So these systems replaced the older systems in 2021. So why do I bring this up? Because these are voluntary systems that you would report your crime statistics to: murders, robberies, all those sorts of things. I don't know, arsons, any of those, crime, just crime. Gets reported to that system, both of those systems, and then there's a health and safety aspect to the CDC. Now, the problem that I am going to throw in here with this is, being that it is voluntary, then you've got to look at how often do these guys report in. San Francisco reported less than 2% of their crime to the FBI's data reporting system, to the UCR. When you look at the other system was put in place in 2021, since that time, San Francisco and just California in general has not reported no more than 2% of anything to that crime reporting system. So how do we know that 35 is the lowest? How do we know that? How do we know anything? How accurate is that number? These guys don't report any of their statistics in on a consistent basis. They don't even give accurate numbers 80% of the time. So how do we know Gavin Newsom's even telling the truth? A lot of this stuff could very well be statistically inaccurate. So anything that comes out of this dummy's mouth, you got to take with a grain of salt. This was just another Gavin Newsom horse shit out the mouth bull, just vomit nonsense. And he continues to be a part of the news cycle for a lot of people, and especially for this show. He comes up a lot in the show my brother and I do, Random Thoughts, because we live in California. Anytime Gavin Newsom breathes and says some dumb shit, he ends up on the show. And a lot of it is him just getting dragged or called out for his bending of the truth or his outright lies in general. He is a shifty snake, and I don't know why people are following him. I just don't. The things that he says, the things that he does, 100% is just 100% trash. It just doesn't line up. Okay, on to law. This website, Law and Crime, is a pretty cool website. I suggest you guys check that thing out. A lot of craziness comes off of that website. So this is the headline. A 9-year-old boy watches his mother get blown away by a motorcyclist with a .45 caliber pistol during a road rage incident. And what in the hell, right? Like, what happened? So her name is Charmaine Williams. She was shot. She's from Wisconsin. The 9-year-old son, boyfriend, and 2-year-old niece were in the car during the shooting. Larry Jefferson allegedly fired multiple shots through Williams's windshield after a minor collision. The incident occurred on August 6th near Sherman Boulevard and Hampton Avenue. Jefferson was reportedly riding a cruiser-style motorcycle and wearing a vest with gangster affiliations on them, resembling what could be a motorcycle club. Surveillance footage and social media posts linked Jefferson to the scene and to the motorcycle club Click Riders MC. I don't even know what that really is. He is charged with first-degree reckless homicide, possession of a firearm by a felon, because he's not supposed to have one of those things. Of course, her kids were found crying in the car. They were unable to understand what happened. It's described by the family as senseless, unfathomable. It doesn't make any sense. It was just a simple accident, and it turned into a whole thing. And it's disgusting. Very disgusting, and it should never have happened. All right, let's get into the fun. Independent. I guess nobody's going to Six Flags anymore. It just they have it seems that they are losing money. They've lost $100 million in Q2. The CEO announced that he will step down, Richard Zimmerman, by the end of the year. Stock shares dropped 47%. Six Flags saw 1.4 million fewer visitors in the second quarter. The company blamed adverse summer weather and removal of winter events for the drop. The Schaling law firm launched an investigation into potential fraud, alleging Six Flags may have issued false or misleading statements to investors, trying to show that they were profitable, and they are inviting investors to form a class action lawsuit. Um, what is interesting to this is Universal, um, Disney, all reporting revenue increases. Universal spent $7 billion on their Epic Universe theme park side of things. And of course, because of all this, Six Flags is going to close the Maryland park to sell the land. They laid off hundreds of full-time staff following its acquisition of Cedar Fair, the company behind Cedar Point. Um, it doesn't look good for the Six Flags company. It's just like Great America. It just appears like theme parks are just not a thing anymore. Like people go, roller coasters, a little bit of food, things like that, but for the most part, nobody's really going anymore. And a lot of it is it's overcrowded. The lines are never regulated correctly. Um, a lot of the rides are ridiculous for the amount of time that you sit on them. The amount of time you sit in the line. And most of the side things, like entertainment wise, pretty much suck. Like there's nothing there for the adults. It's all kid centric. So if you're an adult going to that place, you're just fucking losing your shit. That's how insane this is. Um, but let me know what you guys think in the comments about theme parks. The question of that is just, do you guys even go anymore? Is it cool? Is it still a thing? Is it something that an adult can enjoy? Can any of those things? Just any of those things. Um, this is the Hollywood Reporter. So Kryptonite, as this thing opens up pretty interesting. It says Kryptonite is messing with the summer box office. Heading into the start of the season, hopes were running high that Hollywood would make a roaring comeback and be able to best or at least match the $4 billion earned in 2023 at the domestic box office, when the combination of Oppenheimer and Barbie turned the cultural phenomenon. The 2025 May to August calendar was certainly promising on paper in terms of marquee tentpoles: James Gunn's Superman, Jurassic World Rebirth, Fantastic Four. The only the dinos overperformed. And I believe they're referring to Jurassic Park. And April and May were so strong that even while the month of June was down more than 12%, the full second quarter of the year was up a stunning 37% over the same frame in 2024, thanks to April's pre-summer offering of the Minecraft movie and the summer's first tentpole hit, the live-action Lilo and Stitch, which opened opposite Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Lilo and Mission Impossible fueled a record Memorial Day weekend, prompting year-over-year revenue to a momentary 25% spike that still held a solid 16% gain next month, thanks to the Jurassic World Rebirth film. From there, a roller coaster ride ensued. By the end of the August 15th through 17th weekend, year-over-year revenue was down 6% amid a slowdown in event titles. Worse, it lagged more than 11% compared to 2023. The late summer box office was counting on Fantastic Four to carry over into August in a major way. Instead, the Marvel movie quickly lost its groove. And whereas most had predicted that summer revenue would certainly catch up with 2023's $4 billion, that's now out of the question. ComScore is predicting roughly $3.75 billion, a 2% uptick from 2024, when late July tent poles Deadpool and Wolverine saved the late summer quarter by opening a $211 million on its way to raking in $1.3 billion globally. Pixar's Inside Out 2 also cleared the $1 billion mark in 2024, grossing north of 1.6. Still, if the $3.7 billion figure holds, that would be 8% behind 2023. I think it's kind of crazy that they're even looking that far back, because you would have to base this off of after prior base this after base this on prior year, right? So 2024 did X amount, then 2025 needs to beat 2024. Why the Hollywood Reporter is comparing this year to 2 years ago is mystifying to me. I mean, yes, there's been some films that have done well, like Lilo and Stitch, Jurassic World, um, things like that. But what's the point of 2023? Like, I don't understand this. Of course, it goes on to say that Lilo and Stitch is the only film to become a member of the $1 billion club this year. Other than that, Jurassic World from Universal and Amblin has come closest at 828 million. Summer 2025 is going to match or exceed 2024, but the margins are crazy thin. I am more shocked than anyone else that we're not going to resoundingly surpass the 4 billion collected in 2023, says ComScore chief box office analyst Paul um, DeGarbadin. Boy, I apologize, Paul, if I screwed that up. I guess 4 billion is a tougher threshold than we thought, and it took a Barbie Oppenheimer thing to do it. Case in point, while Warner Brothers Superman has been considered a solid player, its milestone just crossing 600 million. Pre-pandemic, a marquee superhero pick would easily hit $1 billion. Apple's F1 the movie is likewise going to clear 600 million, a giant feat for a car racing film. Or put it another way, this is the first summer in recent memory, except for the heart of the pandemic, when not one Hollywood movie crossed 600 million domestic, or 500 million for that matter. Whereas where are the Avengers when you need them? Of course, he says here that he remains optimistic. The rebound in 2025 has been nothing short of miraculous, given that the first quarter was down a full 12% versus prior year, and the full month of March was down 46% against prior year, and even early July numbers were short 16%. But again, I don't know why they're comparing 2 years ago. I mean, unless they're looking for trends, more than likely. But honestly, guys, the reason this is because the movies suck. Let's just look at this for what it is. Superman, although I did a little mini review of that in a previous episode, where I didn't think it was terrible, but I also didn't think it was great. I also thought it was going to do some business, and it really had, and it has done some business. Now, this version of Superman, as I've also said, is not everybody's cup of tea, but I like that it's one of those Superman characters that is showing some growth. I don't think it needed that many characters in the film, but it's also a film that doesn't show the true essence of Superman, which is what a lot of fans wanted. Jurassic Park, everybody wants to see some dinosaurs, whatever. Fantastic Four is not a good movie. I fell asleep for the first 45 minutes. That's how boring and dull and ridiculous that movie was. It was absolutely gross. Like, there was no reason for this movie to be made. They were trying to center everything around the theme of family, but they did not actually include elements that would put families together in a meaningful way. It was a completely ridiculous idea of Galactus Godzilla-like through the film, and out of nowhere, the woman somehow gets it done by herself with her superpowers, making the men useless, even though they're supposed to be working together. That movie just did not make sense to anybody, which is probably why it's barely hitting 600. When you look at the films before that, like Lilo and Minecraft, you just kind of go, okay, these are kid films. They're going to do business. It doesn't matter how stupid they are. It doesn't matter how ridiculous they are. It doesn't matter how plot hold they are. Kids are going to want to see Minecraft because it's a game they've been playing forever. And they did, and it turned out for them. Lilo and Stitch is a live-action remake, or really is it more of a computer-generated film? Either way, it's more than likely, I've not seen it, but if I had to guess, it's a shot-for-shot of the cartoon. Regardless of all that, Mission Impossible was an utter failure, just an outright failure. There's no reason for that movie to exist. The amount of money they spent on it. I'm just saying, these movies are just trash. And when you look at the beginning of the year when Captain America came out, that was a marketing problem. That is people not understanding how to put films together and market them appropriately. The Red Hulk should have never been in the promos. He should have been a character nobody expected. Harrison Ford should not even have shown his face at any Comic Con at all. It should have just been left alone. Hey, could you imagine the shock when Harrison Ford turns into the Red Hulk in the main scene of transformation? The freak out moment by the fan base. Everybody would have seen it. It would have made a lot more than the $500 million it made. When you look at the new Avengers / Thunderbolts, that is a very entertaining film. But again, it's dark themes, which is where I'm assuming they're trying to shift this. But this is also Marvel's inability to maintain the storylines. They were trying to go in one direction, and then somebody got in trouble with the law. Now they're trying to pivot and go in a different direction. Deadpool and Wolverine was supposed to reboot the timelines. It didn't happen because they're trying to address the Eternals, where Adamantium came from, because now they want to bring in the X-Men. It's a complete jumbled mess. And when as a fan, you're trying to follow this and you're watching this on the screen, and you're just like, they can't even clean this up. They can't even make this right. And when you look at all that, there's no wonder that these films are down as much as they are. Excuse me. But when you watch other movies come into the fray, like Weapons, this weird horror film, looks more funny than anything. You look at that film's going to do some business. That looks entertaining. That looks fun. That looks like something that is originally written, original writings, things like that. That stuff's going to sell. The Conjuring series, it's probably going to be marginal because, again, horror films is like 10, 15 of these things every single time. It may do something. It may not. It's never going to save anything. This is really where we're at. And until we get some people that are willing to write really good things and put them out, we're going to be in this slump all the time. It's like does anybody really care if Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt is around this last film cycle? I fucking didn't. I didn't give a shit. I mean, does anybody? Question of the day, who cares about, did you care about Mission Impossible? It's like, look what's going to happen next year. They plan to release Fast and the Furious again. Another car movie with Vin Diesel. He's trying to talk about how he's going to bring Paul Walker back into the film and have him in some weird way a part of things. And he's talking about connecting the dots with Dwayne Johnson's character. It's like, listen, there's already 12, 13 of these things, I think. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. I mean, please stop making this fucking movie. And and to top all that off, the TV shows have been in decline as well because the writing has just been so bad. Like, what has happened to those people writing the scripts? Is this AI driven shit now? Have we completely removed the writers? Like, what is going on in Hollywood? If anybody has an idea, let me know, because I really, really would like to know what's going on. So, on to CBS News. Okay. Now, this is something that happened a few days ago. I thought it was absolutely fucking hilarious because this is what Donald Trump does. He federalizes DC. And he said to the National Guard and other troops, right, we're going to clean this place up, right? So after about a week or so of this, they find out that everything is down, blah, blah, blah. So then he goes and he hands out White House prepared hamburgers, and he gets local pizza, and they throw essentially a party. I know it's only been a week or so. They did some shit, but to throw a party out in the open like that, either that is the biggest middle finger or the greatest troll job, or whatever. I mean, it's you gotta admire you gotta admire the fucking trollery of the Trump train. They know what they're doing. Gavin Newsom doesn't know what he's doing. These guys know what they're doing. You're throwing a pizza party a week after you deployed troops, claiming victory, and you're wagging the pizza in front of the Democrats' faces. I mean, it's epic trollery. And he has done quite a bit of this shit over the last decade. You know, like there was the one trollery moment where he was Thanos and he goes, "I am inevitable," like he was going to win the presidency. He snapped his fingers, and all the Democrats disappeared into dust. That was hilarious. Um, it just keeps going. What are some of your guys' favorite Trump troll moments? Let me know in the comments down below. And I just want to say again, thank you guys for liking it, sharing it, subscribing it. Um, and I really hope you guys stick around. And by all means, check out World Ablaze with George Fonts for all your politics and geopolitical stuff. Check out Random Thoughts for basically what we do there is we pull some articles, we read them on the fly, react to them as they are. Sometimes we even talk about movies and video games. I know it's been pretty heavy in the news cycle because there's a lot of shit going on, but we are going to do a movie review and we're going to just kind of like veg and just talk some shit. So look for that episode to drop in a few weeks. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Later.